Hey, Brendan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Continuing our 2025 rookie scouting series here on the YouTube channel. Going to be joined again by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co host, and we are going to break down Isaiah Bond today. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in this class. I know we've got the fatigue right now headed to the draft. People are concerned about his lack of production, but this guy's a true junior, man, and he is going to the draft. And I think he is going to surprise a lot of people. So I'm excited to talk about his profile. We're going to talk about his 2024 statistics. We're going to talk about his PFF grades, his strengths and weaknesses, his scouting report. We're going to give you some comps. So hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 17K subscribers by the NFL draft. Help me get there. It doesn't cost you a thing to hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. All right, Jason, let's get to our second 2025 scouting report card. I'm excited about this one, buddy. You and I've got some discussions to go. All right. 5'11, 180-pound Isaiah Bond, wide receiver, another true junior. Played at Texas, 2 years at Bama, goes to Texas. And we're going to go through it all, man. We're going to go through his 2024 production, his PFF grades and stats, strengths and weaknesses, his scouting report card. I did a film breakdown on Mr. Bond, on some of his plays this season. Go check that out. Now, you and I, we did a lot. It was really hard to do the all 22 film for this year because everything was so spotty. He only had like 2 catches on this game and this and this, but we did a lot of extensive research with this guy back in 2023. Yes. After, I mean, we did a film breakdown. We had like 4 or 5 cut ups and stuff like that. So let's just get to what, his production was this year. I mean, it was a disappointment. I mean, I think that's the thing that everyone talks about with Isaiah Bond is the lack of production. All right. 510 yards, 5 TDs on the season. His catch percentage, 72.6. All right. He's got some good sticky hands, yards per reception, 15.9, pretty decent. His slot wide versatility. We love players who are versatile. He played really outside 75% of the time, which is interesting given his size, and 25%, but we love the versatility in wide receivers. So you can see the grades here and you can see the ranks that are associated with the grades. These ranks are based on the top 30 wide receivers heading to the NFL draft. Okay. His PFF receiving grade, he was 23rd, not great, 74.5. Contested catch, 37.5. That's not, I don't think, really going to be his game at the next level. No. Coming in at the 26th ranked. Yards after catch per reception, 8.1, ranked first in the class, which was nice. Even on that limited production, we saw the explosiveness in his game. Yards per route run for my analytical crowd out there, 2.04, ranked close to the bottom of the class at 24th, ranked out of the class. His drop percentage only 3%, ranked 8th. So, like you said, we watched a lot of the all 22 film in 2023. I got a film review of his 2024 season out on the channel. Go check that out. But Jason, what did we see? What did we see when we were watching the film the last couple of years on this guy?
Yeah, honestly, I'm so glad we got back to Isaiah Bond. Because watching the film again, I forgot how good he is. This is a phenomenal, explosive downfield receiver who understands how to navigate through the seam. He knows exactly how to get open. He sneaks past and wraps around defenders so they don't even know where the hell he went. He constantly gets open when he is healthy and on the field. And as I'm watching the explosion off the line of scrimmage, the space release is instantaneous. He's got a nice 1-step, 2-step release where he just manipulates the fender and can either get inside or outside, wraps around them. And, if he gets a clean release on the perimeter, he's got that deep speed, man, to really take the top off a defense, stack a defender very easily, and get downfield with urgency. And I think that is probably going to be his game if he's on the outside. I think if you can really harness and develop that release package that he has, even at his size, he could really do some damage because honestly, even when it's on a post or a corner route, defenders are going to think he's going vertical because he sells it so well, but he'll break inside on that post route and just be available in the center of that zone coverage. And the last thing you want is a guy like this having open space to catch the ball and take off. And I think that's exactly how he can be, deployed. I don't think he's going to be I put congested catch. I don't think he's going to traffic catch guy. I don't think he's a contested catch guy,
Yeah.
but I do think he can adjust really well to erratic throws. I think he is going to be quarterback friendly based on some of the short route running I saw. He comes back to the ball. He extends the routes as needed. And as I'm watching, I'm like, I was watching some of the Alabama film, I'm like, dude, he kind of looks like a first round receiver in some of these games. And I
Mhm,
went back and sure enough, I tweeted during that time, like, this is a first round running or first round
mhm.
receiver. So, I mean, the talent is absolutely there for him to be a high caliber receiver and a high powered offense, a downfield threat, but also could be used out of the slot in, an explosive slot receiver role. I know he wasn't used that way based on what with the stats we just saw, but I think that might be the best role for him. And I think he could do some damage. I don't think he's a yards after the catch guy when there's a defender on him, but if you get him in space, he's a yards after the catch guy with big playability. And I really like what I saw, man. I don't think Texas used him right. And I honestly hope we see a healthy Isaiah Bond because he could be a special player from what I saw.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you on the yards after catch
Let's
grades,
go.
but we'll get to that in
All
a
right.
minute. But to follow up on you, I think he's the most underrated receiver in this class. I really
I kind
do.
of think so too. Yeah.
I think he's my wide receiver 5. I got him in my top 5
I
going
can't
through the
blame you.
draft.
I got to look and see how all this is going to pan out and look at my ranks, but I don't blame you at all.
I think he is explosive. I think people are hung up on the lack of production and all the production people and
Yep.
analytic crowd. They've already crossed him off their list, and which is really, I think, not the best approach. This guy is a sudden mover. He's, I think,
Mhm.
his yards after catch, I think, is his best trait. So you and I can debate that when we get to his scouting report grades. Yes, he lacks the ideal size. The guy's under 6 foot or whatever, and his length is going to be a little limited, but he's not going to be that contested catch guy, right? That's not. I
Right.
think the NFL is going to freaking love this guy. They're
I
gonna
think
they're
so too.
they're
Yep.
gonna they're gonna want some guys who's gonna win in space, get the ball in his hands, and do some damage. And you know what I like about him the most? Can you guess what I like about him the most, Jason? How well do you know me, my friend? What do
Uh, I think when he's got the ball in his hands, he's got sweet feet. Like he's pretty
Sweet
dynamic
feet,
with the
yeah.
ball in his hand.
Well, it's the other trait that I look for. He's physical as shit. He's physical, man.
Oh, he
This
plays
guy,
bigger than his size.
he
Yeah.
does, he does, and I
Yeah.
love. I mean, there were 3 or 4 plays in those films this year when I had cut up his film and put it out on the channel where, he doesn't go out of bounds. He takes on defenders. He stares them down after he puts his shoulder down into him. This guy plays
Mhm.
bigger than his size. He's tough and physical. I love this guy. I think he's underrated. I think people are sleeping on him. Everyone's all excited about Jalen Noel. Give me Bond over Noel all day, every day in this
Wow.
class.
Here we go.
So here
I
we
like
go.
it.
So let's get to his scouting report card grades. All right, release and route running. I gave him a B plus. He might be a little unrefined, but he's a junior going to the
Mhm.
NFL. I think he got news from the NFL that they like him. And I think he's a
Yeah.
good enough route runner right now, and he can still develop into even being better than he is now.
Yeah, I gave him a B plus, man. I love the route running. I thought he
Yeah.
was manipulative. I love it. Everything I saw from when he was healthy. It
Yeah.
was fun.
Ball skills in hands, I gave him a B plus. Like I said, he's not going to be that contested catch guy, but he's got strong hands, made several great catches, adjusting to the football.
Mhm.
He had with his one play, I went back and watched our 2023, the Bama film that we had watched, and he would went down and scooped it off the ground, retained his balance and ran
Yeah.
down the field for 25 yards. So I think he's got great ball skills in hands. I gave him a B plus.
Yeah, I gave him a B plus too. That was actually a really easy one for me.
Acceleration and speed. This guy off the line of scrimmage just pops for
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
I think I gave him an A. I mean, and he'll take it to the house. And yeah, I love it when you watch film on a player, right? And you see defenders taking bad angles and just missing grabbing their ankles, and that's just littered all over his film.
Oh, 100%. Was I watching the Washington game? I can't remember, man, but he faked one defender so badly going from the inside to the outside and hit downfield. Yeah, this kid is special with that deep speed for sure.
Yards after catch, I gave him an A, and I see you've got a B minus grade, and I'm interested
Mhm.
to, maybe we debate this for 15 seconds or so. When this guy gets the ball in his hands, his vision is good, right? He's got
Yeah.
the acceleration to get uh, better, pursuit angles on than the DBs trying to get to him, and he just he just naturally eats up space as he runs down the field. I think he's great after the catch. I think it's one of his best traits, to be honest with you. I think that's how the NFL is going to look to use him: get the ball in his hands quick, get him in space, and let him do damage.
Yeah, my concern was being used on the outside. I just didn't see a guy that was gonna gain yards after the catch in the position that he was put in at Texas. And not until I went back to the Alabama game, I saw exactly what you saw. But, a lot of the yards after the catch were also on some broken coverages. Remind me a lot of like
Mhm.
Jalen Hyatt, just how he was able to gain the yards after the catch on really easy type of navigational routes. So that was my concern. I didn't know if that was gonna translate very well at the next level based on his size.
Physicality and strength, I gave him a B plus. I think he's tough as
Mhm.
nails. I think he plays tough, and you can tell he's got that competitiveness in his game a lot.
Yeah, I gave him a B. I think he's solid, and for his size, he definitely plays larger, than, what his listed size states.
All right, let's talk about draft capital. I think this guy is
Yeah.
going to surprise. I think he's going to get drafted before players that people think are going to get drafted in day two. I think a team's going to fall in love with his explosion. I think he's a mid round two guy.
I can't disagree. I have day 2, and I think mid round 2 to, like, early round 3 is
Three.
probably that nice sweet spot, yeah.
Perfect. So my comp is Jalen Waddle. Similar size. The
Mhm,
thing I loved about Jalen Waddle was his physicality and toughness playing the game.
mhm.
And I see it with Isaiah Bond. I think they could have a similar role. I mean, Waddle's kind of fading right now. Bond's going to be a wide receiver too on a team. I mean, he's not going to come in and be the main guy. Even he could be a very productive wide receiver three if the teams play in a scheme where they have a lot of wide receiver three sets. But Jalen Waddle was my comp.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting. My comp, as I was just reading off my scouting report on Isaiah Bond, I was like, "This sounds so reminiscent of Marvin Mims
Martin
when I was
Mims. It's a
scouting him
great
coming
one.
out."
It's a great one.
Just the physicality, plays larger than his listed size, the route running, manipulation, deep speed, like, all of it. It was just like Marvin Mims 2.0 to me. I don't know what happened to Marvin Mims. I mean, he came on
He's
big
he's
time at the end
emerging.
of
He's
last year.
emerging.
He's
I think he's
emerging,
emerging.
and
Yeah.
maybe he is that day 3 or year 3 breakout type guy. I could see that for Bond. Maybe Bond doesn't do much in year 1, and maybe it does take him a year or 2 to catch on, but I think when he catches on, he's going to be what Marvin Mims was at the end of last year, just consistently dominant downfield and eating up zone coverage.
Oh, the old days, Jason, when,
I
the wide
know.
receiver 3-year breakout. Now it's the world is impatient. We want instant
Eh,
production. And if you're not good
right.
year one,
We've been spoiled.
they write your ass off, right? So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm a big fan of Isaiah Bond. I think you are too.
Yeah, me
So
too.
there is our scouting report. I think he's underrated. I think he is going to be a good NFL dynasty asset for us.